Hi, how you doing? I'm freezing as usual. No change there then. Is my mic and everything working? I swear I'm jinxed because I was just about to start the stream, get the old counter going and that lot, and I noticed that my Spotify background music and my microphone were no longer working, which was great. So something's going on with my USB ports or something, but I think I've got them all working. Steve, good evening. Yes, yeah. Bex is at work tonight, bless her. Slaving away she is. Dennis, I'm good, buddy. Hope you're alright, mate. So, I'm going to carry on with this Mandalorian painting. So if I switch the camera over to this one, just like that. Am I green this week? No, I'm normal colour. Although I have got a bit of a green tint. But hey ho. So I've still got it on its side. Just so I'm not sat there with my arms way up in the air trying to paint. Just so I can reach nicer. But we need to get cracking because this is a Christmas gift for a family member, and of course Christmas is coming. It's not far away. So get the old air hose. I think I'll start with his other hand tonight. Go up level all the way up. So we've done that hand last week, so we'll start with this hand this week. So my Mac valve was turned on a bit. We don't need to restrict the air. Right. So let's get a nice camera angle. Like that. Zoom in a bit. So. Alright, let's get rolling. What you guys been up to then since our last stream? Anyone been doing anything exciting? I haven't. What did I do? Did I have a tattoo last week? Yeah, I did. Yeah, big old dragon one. I did this massive dragon piece on a lady's hip for her. That was a custom design. And then a couple of little ones, which is nice because the tattoos have been dead recently. Come on, where's the paint? There we go. So again, I'm using E-Tac, same as last week. So 12 drops of E-Tac with 6 drops of, E-Tac Grey with 6 drops of Createx Illustration Reducer, just because it's the only reducer I've got kicking about. And 6 drops of transparent base to make it actually stick a bit better. Because E-Tac EFX paint is rewritable. Comes off easy. Mapping out all my little dark bits. Week tomorrow, fingers to the bone. You got that right, mate? Yeah, I got this to do, and a pair of Converse trainers for a charity I'm involved in. Sad thing is that because of the Royal Mail strikes and that, the Converse were delayed by 2 weeks. So I've only got until the 22nd, I think, to get them back to the charity so that they can pass them on to the little one at the hospital. So busy. Might end up, I don't know, maybe UPSing them or something. I might skip Royal Mail, just to be on the safe side. And I've also got a wedding to go to. Yeah, busy old week next week. Got to do those shoes. Got a wedding in Swindon to go to. I've got a couple of big tattoos booked in. And no rest for the wicked. Went to BCLM last night and watched the Albion round in North today. Nice. I'm going to be really dumb now. What's the BCLM? You've got a bit tip dry. Yeah, I have. That's unusual, that fast. Normally get quite a bit longer than that with E-Tech. You might see me going in little puffs. Rather than doing like a line, you might see me occasionally going in little puffs. That's because of E-Tac and the way it works. If I get this envelope and show you. So, you know me mentioning about it being rewritable. Well, if I go too thick too quickly, you see it's like erasing itself. I think you can see it on the camera. Like erasing, I know it's spidering all over the place, but it's like erasing itself. And if I go too thick too quickly, it does that. So just doing the little the little puffs just gives it a chance to dry, basically, rather than suddenly rewriting and spidering all over the place. You don't need to do that with Createx or anything like that. That's just the ETAC EFX, I find, can be a little bit too fragile at times, especially when you've got that reducer in it, because that activates the paint again really quickly, because it's good stuff. Black Country Living Museum. Oh, I see. Now I know. Was it good? Did you enjoy it? I don't get to go out much these days. I've always got something that needs doing at home. This wedding we're going to is going to be the first time we've gone out in quite a while. Sad, isn't it? Ah, the life of a struggling artist. Good evening, Buck. Hope you're doing well this evening, mate. Hope you've had an alright week. But what's going on here? Because they're cloth fingers. So, all fairly dark there. It was indeed. Good. Pleased to hear it. I still haven't figured out how to get my chat sorted out, by the way, so if you're there, you're on YouTube, and if you're there, whenever anyone on Twitch chats, that's where the Twitch chat appears. I haven't figured out how to do it on the same thing yet. I'll figure it out though. Same old 50/50 Wicked Black and Reducer 15 PSI. Not on this, mate. Nope. I am using ETAC EFX paint. That's ETAC grey. I've got 12 drops of that with 5 drops of the Createx transparent base. And then, did I say 5 drops? I've got 12 drops of paint, 6 drops of transparent base, and then 6 drops of reducer. So 6 drops of 12 drops of paint, and then 12 drops of additive. Yeah. Now there's me thinking that's something important. Apparently some actress has just been arrested, according to my phone. Yeah, exactly, mate. Fingers. It looks like it's going to warm up a bit next week. Yeah. Yeah, thank goodness. So, what is it today? What is it at the moment out there? Down in good old Hampshire, at the moment it is 0 outside. And apparently tomorrow it's going to go up to like 10 or 14 or something. So it's going to be like the tropics. We're walking around in shorts and t-shirt. We won't know what to do with ourselves. I'll probably get a tan. Who am I kidding? I don't get a tan. I burst into flames. I'm ginger. Don't do the sun. Almost tempted to get the bike out. Yeah, almost. They did mention freezing rain on the forecast down here. They were like, tomorrow morning it's supposed to absolutely chuck down with rain. And then the cold air from the north is going to try and make a fight back and push the warm air back down south. And when they collide, the temperature's going to drop again overnight or like in the early evening or whatever. And they said we might get freezing rain. So if you do take the bike out, mate, be careful. 2 wheels in slippery conditions are not something I would want to play with. Maybe not then, yeah. Yeah, I just saw on the old BBC weather forecast that he said to watch out for freezing rain on Sunday. Not quite sure what to paint once I've done this one. It's a bit late for my succubus idea. Sorry, Krampus idea. Because there's no way I'm going to be able to finish this and do the shoes and start another project and get it done before Christmas. So I'll save the Krampus idea for next year. I was thinking, you know what you could do as a cool sideline? You could kick it old school and paint Zippos. Sell that at a tattoo shop. Do you know what? I tried doing a Zippo once. It was a nightmare. Although saying that was before I discovered E-Tac paint. So with the performance you get from E-Tac, yeah, you could probably do Zippos. Do like Steve does. Do the teeny tiny tins. Trouble is, something little like that, like the tin, people probably wouldn't be willing to pay a lot for it. Not that I would want to rip people off, but of course you wouldn't want to sell it for like 20 quid or something because you've taken the time to paint it. But they'll just see it as a small little item. It doesn't come across as a high value item. Don't know. You'd have to get into the collector's market, wouldn't you? So that's where Zippos will come in, wouldn't it? Because you get people who collect Zippos and stuff. Who was it years and years ago who used to do airbrush pens? Can't remember their names now, but there was a couple who used to airbrush on pens, and their work was just phenomenal. And they were into the collector's market, so people who collected these fancy pens and stuff, and people were paying obscene amounts of money for them. But the amount of work and the level of skill needed to do them was just out of this world. I always remember looking at the stuff they were painting and thinking, how on earth do you do that? Always blew me away, their work. Can't for the life of me remember their names. No, can't remember. Buy 3 or 4 and try it out. Yeah, I might do that. That might be a little I've got 2 weeks off for Christmas, so that might be a little project to have a play with. I've also got a figure I've 3D printed out that I need to paint as well. Nice. Oh, one smokes anymore, but everyone's still got a Zippo. Yeah, yeah. I was one of those teenage kids in my late teens. I've never smoked in my life, but I had a Zippo in my pocket for a couple of years, just because it was cool. There's a Guns N' Roses one. Or vape cases. And start airbrushing vape cases. Right, now his bit of armour on his forearm. Not airbrush iPhone covers. Yeah, mind you, the beating that iPhone covers get, you'd have to have some sort of rubbery clear coat, wouldn't you? If you did it with normal 2K, it would melt the plastic and it would be too brittle. I don't know. Maybe something like the clear coat you can get for trainers and stuff. That stuff. Maybe something like that that's bendy. I don't know. Certainly be something to have a play with, that's for sure. I'm going to have a go at painting some sets of classic bike tanks and side panels next year, see how it goes. Good idea, mate. Yeah, tanks are a lot of fun. It's been a while since I've done a tank. I mean, we're talking... God, what's it been? A good 2? No, probably 3 years since I did a bike tank. But yeah, they're a lot of fun. The only problems I used to have was the clear coating around the fuel filler cap if it was a used tank, because if any of the fumes or anything get under the clear coat, then it lifts it off, causes you no end of trouble. So I always had lots of nightmares with fuel fumes and stuff. Classic bikes are getting popular, that they are. I've got a guitarist friend from Southampton, and she desperately wants one of the bikes I airbrushed on your guitar for you. That Kawasaki. Yeah, their classic bikes are a lot more popular than custom bikes. Probably because they'd be a nightmare to insure, I would have thought. If you've got like this big airbrushed bike with artwork all over it, if you tell that to an insurance company, it's going to, the cost of your insurance is going to go through the roof, isn't it? I'd say the biggest thing is making a good mount. Is that is that relationship advice or? Yes, you're exactly right. I was always one of those ones that had the tank resting on multiple rolls of tape or like old books and stuff, and it was really rickety. One thing I really want to do, but I haven't got the money to buy one, is a classic mini bonnet. I want to get a nice, good, really good condition, which is quite hard, classic mini bonnet. They're all rusty because they're all classics. I don't particularly want to go for a carbon fibre one. I want your classic metal one, but one that hasn't got any rust or anything on it. And then do like Paddy Hopkirk and Alecus Agonis and stuff like that on it. Had that idea for many years now, and I've never had the money to get hold of a bonnet to do it. And then just sell it as an art piece rather than to go on someone's car, you know? Used to like on American Chopper the petrol tanks did. Yeah, I used to love American Chopper back in the day when they did all the airbrushing and that lot. I got 2 builds this year. One B900 and a Z900A4 I had for years. Nice. Yeah, mini bonnets are a good couple £100, aren't they? Which is why I haven't done it yet. Mind you, I'd love to get my hands on a classic mini, like the whole car. I've owned 3 in my lifetime. Best fun I've ever had driving. I don't like driving much. I'm not a fan of driving. Because my cars always break down. But I've had 3 classic minis and yeah, had loads of fun driving those around. Really regret selling my last one. But I went and got Bex up the duff, so we needed the money to pay for baby stuff. That's how long ago it was. That baby is now 19. So I've been without a mini for 19 years. All because I couldn't keep it in my trousers. And to buy one now, even a rust bucket, you're talking like 4 or 5 grand. It's ridiculous. Because they're classic cars and you have to go to specialist companies to get all the parts and stuff now. Yeah, if anyone out there owns a classic mini and they want some airbrushing done in return for a swap, give me a shout. Oh, the biker build off. Yeah, those were really cool. Yeah, I used to love the Great British, it's a mouthful, the Great British Biker build off. Try saying that 3 times fast. Yeah, I used to love that. There's one of the companies on there is down Southampton way. Can't remember their name now, but back when I used to do a lot of stuff for the Harley dealership down that way, old Dockgate 20, I used to go there and hang about and that lot. I never got to do a bike for them though, I was gutted. Only drove a classic Mini once, 30 years ago, day I passed my test. Ah, cool. Looking at, yeah, sadly, if you've got a good condition one, yeah, the cost is through the roof. And if I had the money to buy one, I probably wouldn't buy a perfectly good one because I want it to be my daily driver. And if you've got one that's immaculate with zero rust on it or whatever, you'd want it stashed away in a garage, never getting wet ever. I'm going to buy one. I'm going to spray it in green flip paint. So the one that flips from green to purple. And then paint poison ivy down the side. That's the plan. The new Minis are really good cars. Yeah, see... Yeah, I don't doubt they are good cars in their own right. But I'm in that camp that says that they don't deserve the word Mini. Because there's nothing about them that is the old Mini. They're BMW cars. And they're huge. Still good cars though. I don't doubt that for a second. I'm sure they're really good cars. But I'm a bit of a purist when it comes to my Minis. I would still own one of the BMW ones if someone was going to give me one. In the mini circles that I lurk around in, we call the BMW ones binnies. Not saying that they're a rubbish bin, they're just BMW minis, so we call them binnies. Most of that bit has got loads of light on it, so it stays white. And we've got this bit here that is another shadow that goes all the way down to meet the end of that one. Okay. I'm on camera, aren't I? Yeah, good. Hey, my compressor came on, it didn't make me jump. Should call them massives, yeah. Good night, Steve. Have a good evening, mate. Take it easy. Are they really as big as Land Rovers? Good grief. I'm not surprised though. A few weeks back, I was at some traffic lights and you had a BMW Mini in front and then a classic Mini behind, and you could see the size difference, and the new one was huge in comparison. What you needed to do is buy 3 junkers and make and swap good bad. Yeah, make one good one out of the. Yeah, that's what most people do these days. I still remember the registration of my old Mini, and every now and then I type it into the old DVLA website just to see if it's still out there. And since 2015, I think it's been it hasn't had any tax brought for it, but it's declared sawn. It isn't declared scrapped or anything, so I'm happy in the knowledge that somewhere out there my little blue Mini is sat in someone's garage waiting for a bit of TLC. I'm 6'4" and I want a Mr. Bean car. That's the weird thing. Most classic Mini owners are either really fat or really tall, which is ironic. You would have thought that, you know, skinny little people would buy them. I'm only, what am I? I'm 5'9", 5'10", something like that, and my knees would hit the steering wheel. I had to drive my Mini with my legs open. That was great fun though. It had massive wheels on it, like gigantic wheels. They were, what were they? They were 7x13s. Big chrome buckets. They were great. Had to cut out some of the wheel arch because I had no turning circle otherwise. Had to fit spacers so that they would fit onto the hubs properly. They were great, and no power steering, so if the car wasn't rolling you couldn't physically turn the wheel. Those were the days. I had forearms like Popeye. Isn't the mini thing, it's like a go-kart on steroids, basically, yeah. You can write to DVLA and ask for the owner to get in touch. Yeah, I was tempted, but as I've got bugger all money, I was like, what's the point? If I had like 10 grand in my savings or whatever, and the missus didn't mind me blowing it on a whim, then I would probably get in touch with him or her. But as I haven't got the money to buy it off of them, I've left it be. One of the ones I owned, not the last one, but I think the one before that had a Metro Turbo 1275 engine in it. That one went like crazy. Had an awful lot of grunt, that old car. It's great at traffic lights. He'd have something like a Ford or a little. It didn't beat every car, but you have those regular little boy racer cars. Like the I've lost my eraser. Another one. What was I saying? Yeah, like the little Ford Focuses and stuff like that. And she would beat a Ford Focus off the lights. That one was all black with huge wheel arches and a big spoiler. And the old black grille that went over the rear windscreen. That was a fun one. They were all fun cars, to be fair. The first one I ever owned, a brown one, was sat on my mum and dad's driveway where I lived at the time for a long, long time. That was a project car, that. And I decided to sell her. And I always remember my mate driving her. I had a mate who was a mechanic, and he was driving her down the road to the person I'd sold her to, because I just sold it as spare parts, basically, because I wasn't sure if it would run or not. And my mechanic mate got it running, and he goes, I'll just drive it down to the person who's bought it, because they're like half a mile away from where I lived. And me and my other mate followed him, and he got to the end of the road, and there was this god-awful pop, and a 3-foot flame came flying out the exhaust. There was something wrong with the fuel, and it was just dumping. It wasn't burning all the fuel, it was dumping loads of it into the exhaust. So every couple of minutes you just get this god-awful pop, and then a burst of flame out the back. No doubt, Big Trout. Good evening, mate. How are you? Hope you're doing well this evening. The missus, the true factor to consider, definitely. Thou shalt not piss off the missus. Let's take a Mini and make it into a He-Man themed monster truck or Ghostbusters. That would be a cool paint job, wouldn't it? All like classic 80s cartoons. So you could have the real Ghostbusters, He-Man, all that lot, all down the side. That would be quite a cool paint job. Slimer green, yeah, definitely Slimer green. The engine in my BMW do a cylinder head conversion for the Mini engine, making it a twin camshaft. Ooh. You're on Twitch but couldn't chat. No. Well, that's a bugger. I don't know why that was. Strange. Young lads pay hundreds for flames out the exhaust. Yeah, see, all you had to do was just leave it parked on your mum and dad's front lawn for 18 months and then try and drive it somewhere. Job done. That was awful, that one though. It was shitty brown with a red interior. Ugh. And then yeah, I got the black one. That was a little pocket rocket. And then I flogged that one, and then I got the blue one. And the blue one is the one I remember the registration of, and the one I missed the most. That was fun. I spent a lot of time on that blue one. I even cut the word mini in the boot for a third brake light. But I didn't have a Dremel or anything back then, so I literally had a drill, and I drew it on, and then I drilled loads of holes, and then I had this little tiny needle file, and I was there for days just filing it out. I must have driven my neighbours nuts. Looked really cool though. It's in follower only mode, but it needs to be following for 1 month. Oh. Okay. That's unusual. I'll have to have a look at that. Thanks for letting me know. But anyone watching on Twitch, I'm sorry you can't chat. I do apologise. For some reason it switched to follower only mode. I'll have a look at that after stream. See on Discord as well, just so you know. Thanks, mate. Much appreciated. I will sort that out later. Ooh, it's fiddly. Glad to have you on here. Yeah, I always have YouTube as a backup. Remember, the paint for my RC car came today, so I can get on with that little job. Ah, nice. Yeah, that'll be cool. Yeah, we were talking about RC shells last week, weren't we? They're always a bit of a giggle, they are. Trying to paint everything backwards. Very rewarding though, when you finish it and you look at it and it works. You're like, yeah, I can do things backwards. A lot of satisfaction. Cramp in my hand. I'm looking forward to doing them. It's about 15 years ago I last did an RC shell. The masking is definitely, definitely the tricky bit. and the prep. And I was always worried about scratching the inside too much. Obviously you got to make it rough for the paint to stick. I was always worried about scratching it too much and the scratches would be visible through the paint. So I always use like an adhesion promoter just to be on the safe side. Close your hand, stretch it out. Pull on each finger and hold for 10 seconds. Oh yeah, that'll chestnut. I always get terrible lock. My little finger always locks up. Because I'm stupid. I always hold my airbrush too tight. I stress my hand and my little finger that's round there like that. It's all straight and resting against my Mac valve there. It always ends up locking up, and then I'll have to smack it against something to make it bend. Even there, it's starting to catch. Getting old. This new paint goes on no prep. You just wash the shell. Nice. That's nice and easy then. That saves a lot of aggro. Yeah, but like, I used to use the Createx stuff for the RC shells, and if you don't prep properly with that, it's coming off. It's the same with guitars. It's just one of those paints that requires your prep work to be on point. Cool, I'll do that. Never use those damn Mac valves. You know what? I've got one on there, but I hardly ever use it. Although it is part of my quick release, so I don't have a quick release that doesn't have a Mac valve in it. But yeah, I very rarely use it unless I'm doing speckling. That's the only time I'll turn my air down. I find the The Iwata Micron and the Infinity restrict the air themselves anyway. And I used to have one of those moisture traps. One of them. I used to have my Mac valve and that on there as well, and it just got too long and cumbersome and I couldn't really work it. I ditched the moisture trap. But connectors are great, but the comfort of the host and the gun direct is so much better. Yeah, it is. It is. I normally have to stop a lot when I'm painting because the dogs want to go out or somebody wants me to do something, and I'm always really wary of putting. I've got a desktop holder over on the desk over here, and I'm always wary about putting the airbrush in the holder with the hose connected, because if the dog runs past and catches the hose, it's pulling my airbrush down and gonna hit the floor. So I always disconnect the hose if ever I'm going anywhere, just to be on the safe side. What time is it? 8:15. That's cool. Still got an hour. Yeah, same till I noticed I never had moisture. Yeah, it's strange. The moisture trap on my compressor is full, and in the 15 years or whatever I've owned my compressor, I've never figured out how to empty it. But I never get moisture at the airbrush, which is handy. I'll put some pictures on Facebook. Paint is special for poly shells. Tamiya PS range. That's cool. I made my own holders out of wood, much more stable. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where I got these things from. They're just the twisted metal ones. I'd show you, but it's bolted to the desk over there. Each time I've bent the needle, it's the airbrush falling off the stand. Yeah. Yeah, mine's been the same. Or I've gone to put it away too quickly and banged the end of the needle onto the stand. I'm terrible for that. Actually, bending my needle by dropping the airbrush myself. I've done about maybe twice. But it being knocked out of the stand or me knocking it into the stand is other ones for me. Can you move the cam? I can. And then, wrong way, zoom. See that? One of them. And it just goes just in there like that if I don't move the camera. There you go. There's just that bendy metal one, like that. Go to the compressor, I'll tell you how to empty it. Oh, it is a Bambi BB50D. Don't know if you can see it, because I've got crud in the way. But yeah, under my desk there. Great big 50-litre tank with 2 fridge compressors on it. Done me proud, that compressor. It's got like a little black plastic tab on the bottom, and I think you unscrew it, but for the life of me I can't get to unscrew it. When I'm guessing you push it up, it's like a little tap, almost like the one you've got on the bottom of the moisture things. You know, this bit here is actually a little valve that's spring loaded and you can push it up. Well, it looks like it's something like that, but it's just black plastic, but it's got this black plastic ring around the outside, and I'm guessing that's what's locked it, but for the life of me I can't unscrew it. Probably find out it's one of those funny foreign ones and actually got to twist it the wrong way to undo it. I don't know. I just didn't want to go ahead and force it and break it because it's only plastic. Has your compressor got a drain plug? It has, mate. Yeah, once it's down to about 1 bar of pressure, it's got a screw thread on the top with a black hose coming out of the tank. So you drain the tank using the airbrush or the air hose down to 1 bar, and then you can undo that little screw on the top, and then any water that's in the tank comes out. Initially, all you have to do is press the bottom nipple up. Yeah, see, that's what I thought, but it's rock solid. It won't budge. I'll give it a try when I haven't got 150 psi in the tank. See me blow myself across the room live on stream. That's that bit. And that bit. That shaded bit there. And that bit is that bit there. So that bit there. Bit I'm looking at. Okay. Doing that thing again where I'm looking at the reference and looking at what I've scribbled out as a rough sketch and thinking, hold on, that doesn't correlate to that. What's going on? bit of cover for the drain plug. Imagine a dummy flying. Like, yeah. Just see my face plaster against the camera, yeah. Yeah. Bambi BB 50. I can find an image of the drain thing. It's almost like the little nipple has got this black sleeve around it, like a black donut around it, and that won't budge. And it's almost like it's a screw that's stopping it from being pressed. I'll give it a play. That show it? That doesn't show it. Ah, there we go. How big is that? An image in new tab. Yeah, there we go. Right, so if I switch this over to my desktop, like that, and then you get to see my OBS studio and stuff. Hopefully my mic is still working. Yes, good. Right, so if I now drag this over here, go full screen on that, see right there. So this silver thing here with the black hose coming off it, that's what drains any moisture from the tank once you get down to 1 bar pressure. But this moisture trap here is what's full of liquid at the moment, and that little black nipple there is what you're supposed to be able to push up. But this black thing around the outside of it appears to be some sort of a screw, and I can't do it up or undo it. It won't budge. So I can't push it, and I can't screw it. And it's been like it for, well, since I had the compressor, so like 15 odd years. I'll figure it out. It's about time I figured it out. Yeah, maybe that might be the way. Just unscrew the little glass bowl. That might do it. I mean, the filter inside is interchangeable, isn't it? So you got to be able to get into it. I do wonder about corrosion as well on the inside of the tank. I mean, I religiously drain it after every use. That black hose that comes off the top, I got it going into an old 2-litre Coke bottle. So when I finish here, I'll release enough air out of the tank to get it down to 1 bar using the airbrush, or I just unscrew my quick release and just leave that going for a while. When it's down to 1 bar, I undo that screw, and all the moisture from the tank then goes into this old Coke bottle that I've got in there. But I do wonder about rust, because that compressor is getting on a bit now. So there must be a bit of corrosion inside by now, surely. I remember when I bought that compressor, it was the best thing ever. Back when I bought it, they were like 800 and something pounds each. And yeah, bloody good investment that was. Done me proud, that thing. Trouble is, if it breaks, you're stuck. Yeah, there is that. I'd have to be careful not to break it. Not a big deal, even if it rusts, you could just replace the tank, but really it will last a lifetime, no worries. Oh, that's cool. I do wonder, I've seen like YouTube videos of like garage compressors, you know, the ones that are like 5 feet tall and stand on their end. I've seen a few videos of those where the tank gives way and it like blows people through walls and takes out windows and stuff. Obviously that tank isn't anywhere near that big. I think the most it's got in it is 150 psi, I think. 6.5 bar, whatever that works out at. See what else? Go on Google. 6.5 bar in psi. 92 psi. Not as much as I thought. So yeah, it probably wouldn't be enough to shoot me across the room. It'll be enough to make me need to change my underwear and probably pick all my paints up off the floor, but did you hear about that fish tank? I can't remember what country it was in now, but 1 million litres of water. The tank gave way. It was in the foyer of some hotel or something, and it was like this big donut fish tank that was like 40 metres tall or something. It had a lift going up in the middle of it, and the tank gave way, and 1 million litres of water and 1,500 tropical fish went spewing out into the road. That must have been terrible. That must have felt like an earthquake, that much water suddenly being released. Apparently the tank was bulletproof. Well, I say bulletproof. The guy who installed it or invented it or something said you could shoot the tank and the bullet would make a hole, but it wouldn't shatter the tank. That's how tough it was. I don't know how long it had been stood there. Maybe it degraded over time or something, but early in the morning, luckily before anybody was in the foyer, it just suddenly shattered, and all this water and fish just flooded the hotel and blew out all the windows and flooded the street and that one. Yeah, it's a serious fish tank. It was really impressive. Like I say, it was a marine fish tank, so it was all tropical fish. It was all blue and all that lot. Looked really nice, and there was a lift that went up through the middle of it. It was a serious bit of kit. It was really cool. I don't know how long it's been stood there. It's been stood there for a good few years, so I guess the tank just got old and brittle, I guess. I have got to pull my finger out, haven't I? Luckily, I've got. Oh, I've got the rest of tonight, all of tomorrow. At the moment, all of Monday because I haven't got anything booked in. But then that will be it. Sorry, losing my voice. Yeah, so I've just got tomorrow and Monday to finish it. Because Tuesday I'm busy with appointments. Wednesday I'm in Swindon. Thursday I've got a full long day session booked in at the tattoo studio. And then it's Christmas, so yeah. If it's not finished by Monday evening, I might pull an all-nighter on Monday night. Who's up for watching me stream all Monday night? You're going to frame it up all nice. Do you know what? I have purchased a nice frame. It's just behind me in its Amazon box. I still haven't had a look at it yet. I really should. But yeah, it's going to go in a nice frame. I hear old Amazon workers are going to strike someone as well now. Everybody's at it, isn't they? What have you got scheduled for the full session? Anything interesting? It is the classic old pocket watches and flowers for chaps, kids. So their times they were born is going on the pocket watches with little banners with their names on and their dates of birth. It'll be a half sleeve, so going from like shoulder to elbow. Black and grey, yeah. Yeah, exactly that. You do. You kind of just get into a like you say, you get into a zone and the world just fades away and you just crack on with it. It's nice when that happens. Not every painting I've ever done has been like that. I've done the odd guitar where I haven't been able to get into the zone at all with them, you know. For speed steak, I'll take a little bit of artistic license with this cloth bit here rather than trying to replicate exactly what's on the reference. Doesn't really matter, does it? The material helps. The slightly absorbent paper makes it so easy. It's like exactly that, mate. Yep. If I was doing this on a hard surface, it would be a completely different story. But yeah, I do like using Bristol board and stuff like that. That's a little bit absorbent. Make sure that's not the good lady wife. Nope. Apparently a water main in London is best. That's nice. Camden is under 1/2 metre of water, apparently. Or part of it, anyway. You're courageous. I do that stuff with a brush or a script pen. Do you know what? I often think too much about the masking and stuff like that, and when I just every now and then I'll just do a paint and I'll be like, you know what? I'm not going to do any masking, nothing. I'm just going to use the airbrush and go at it. And if I cock it up, I cock it up. And touch wood, to this day I haven't cocked it up to the point where I can't fix it. But it's nice to just put some paint in the airbrush. Just one colour. You know, you don't have to worry about colour changes and all that lot. Just one colour and just go for it. I haven't gone off camera, have I? No, cool. Good stuff. Yeah, little tiny mini dots, yeah. Yeah, they were a stitching detail that was on that bit of the arm, but I thought sod it. There's a couple that are a bit bigger than the rest, but adds to the aesthetic, doesn't it? Nothing in real life is perfect, is it? Not far from where I live, a water main burst, then somehow found its way into the gas main. People had water coming out of their cooker. Oh my god. Well, that's not good, is it? Having a gas cooker and that, like there's water coming out of it. I get water coming from behind my boiler quite often because the way my house is faced, if the wind's blowing in a certain direction, the wind blows the rain down my, is it flue? The exhaust that sticks out the wall outside from my boiler. it blows the rain down it, and then I have rain dripping down my kitchen wall behind the boiler. Which is always nice. But apparently perfectly natural, and it won't do any harm, according to the Mr. Gas man who came out. Because I also had a problem with my pressure. And I had, what do you call it? Is it pipe hammer? Where a pipe vibrates. I had that. So I had the gas man out to see if it was going to cause any problems. And while he was out, I said, and by the way, do you know that I have water leaking down it? Somebody wants me. Who's that? I'll reply to that after stream. We're doing on time now. 5 to 9. Right, gonna need to do little dots again. So there's a stitching pattern going up there and up there. Zoom in so you can see me cock it up. Just for a laugh. This is where a bit of tip dry will ruin the whole thing. Luckily I didn't get one. Yeah, that worked. I'm holding my breath with you. Yeah, they had to pump the water out of the gas main. Over 1 million litres, good God. That could not have been a cheap repair. There you go, a bit of tip dry. My pattern went from a little circle to a rectangle. Get very little with E-Tack though. Great stuff. I don't have a single bad thing to say about E-Tack. I love it. My only gripe is that they don't do a ton of colours. I think the EFX range is something like 27 colours, but it's designed for you to mix your own. But I'm one of those artists that likes to just use straight out the bottle. Don't like faffing about with mixing my own colours. So that's my only gripe, and it is a very minor one, is that they need more colours. And it needs to be easier to get hold of in the UK. Not easy to find this stuff. I've found a couple of shops that sell it, but quite surprised it's not more widely used than it is, to be honest, because it performs beautifully. How long do our paints last? I've got some old Createx. Do you know what? Pretty much all my paints are back from when I was a lot more active on the airbrush scene. So pretty much all my paints are a good 10 to 12 years old. And the E-Tac is absolutely fine. The Createx, the illustration colours and Auto Air and Wicked colours, I find they've gone a bit bitty inside. There's like little bits of little flakes of paint inside that's almost like dried out paint floating about inside, which then of course clogs your airbrush. So I find Createx doesn't age that well. To be fair, it's brilliant paint, but it just doesn't age very well. And this E-Tac stuff is perfect. I've got some Trident as well. That's done all right. That's done okay. What else do I use a lot of? The golden colours as well. They tend to get a bit bitty as well, I find. Better, it's too bright. I've never tried E-Tac. Their other brand I used was great, called Spectratech. That's right, I remember Spectratech. Keep it away from the frost, I've had no problem with. Yeah, frost will kill your paint, definitely. I had a bunch of Auto Air that was in my old Shedio that I used to record in many moons ago. And yeah, all the paint that was in there was ruined. Luckily, the majority of my paint I kept in the house. That was alright. But yeah, once they get to about 10, 12 years old, they get a bit bitty, some of them. Paint shakers for your desk. Oh yeah, the little vibrating ones, yeah. See, some places you can really pay over the odds for those. I've seen ones for like 100 odd quid, and it's like, come on, it's a vibrator basically. It's just a motor with a weight on it. I've seen ones for a tenner, and I've seen ones for just over 100 quid. And if I was going to buy one, I know which one I would buy. It would not be the 100 quid one. Oh, I've gone off camera a bit, look. There we go. The one on Amazon for $20. I'll give it away from the wife. Yeah, Dennis. You're talking about filtering paint. One little trick you can do. I don't think I've got a bottle here to show you, but if you be really masculine and go to the supermarket and buy a pair of tights, then you can chop a little bit off the tights and stick it on your head. No, you can cut off a square, and then on the bottle, if you undo that, put the bit of tight fabric over there, hold it on, and then put the lid back on, and it's a built-in filter on your bottle. I've got a couple of bottles here that I've done that with, and I can't see them, and it works a treat. That way you don't have to worry about filtering every time you take paint out of the bottle. You know, the bottle filters it for you. Plus, it's just an excuse to go to the supermarket and buy tights. Everyone loves those pantyhose. By Granny Brown. Yeah. Yeah, that's slightly off flesh colour. Hair's getting a bit spitty there. Yeah. Here's a nice feminine voice. And paint your nails, so when you hand over your card or your cash or whatever, you've got a nice nail varnish on. Thanks, Dennis. Appreciate that, bud. How are we doing for time? 9:05. Ooh. Mrs. Sphere will be home soon. Admit we don't give much feedback. That's alright, mate. That's not what you're there for. I'm just here to hang out with my friends and paint stuff. Don't forget to pull out the eraser if you need a little shine here and there. Yes, I've got a little mechanical eraser that I'll use to highlight some bits, because I've gone too dark on his crutch for a start. Went too dark here where his pants are. So I'll be using the eraser there, bring some tones out. And the old scalpel trick, yep, that works well as well. Although I do find that the scalpel can tend to rip this Bristol board up quite a bit. Yeah, you have to use that carefully. I've actually found a Dremel bit. It's like this blue grinding stone that you get for a Dremel. That works brilliantly instead of a scalpel. Right, 9:08, so I guess I better call it there before the missus pulls up on the drive and the dogs go insane and blow your heads off. But it's sideways, but you get the idea. So it's coming along nicely. But like I say, I might call it a night on this for now, because my hand is really locking up. But if you're about tomorrow, I might stream tomorrow, depending if Bex is watching something on telly or not. Depends if I can make a noise or not. Yeah, thanks for keeping me company as always. Always a pleasure, never a chore, as they say. And if I don't see you tomorrow, I'll definitely see you next Saturday. What date is it? Saturday. When is it? Next Saturday is Christmas Eve. Yeah. I might do a Christmas Eve stream. Bex is working. What's she working? She's working earlier. She's working like 3 PM till 8 or something like that. So I might stream. Yeah, I'll stream. I'll do a Christmas Eve stream. It'll be a little bit earlier than normal, but I'll be here on Christmas Eve. So you all take care. Might see you tomorrow. If not, I'll definitely be back next Saturday. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, as they say. And I'll see you later. Cheerio.